In this video, I'm drawing a side view castle map for my newest tabletop role-playing game zine. I'm going to take you along and show you my process start to finish. Okay, I started off by making this pencil sketch. I kind of went overboard, but I wanted to nail down the concept of having a dark, shadowy castle that is looming over a small town and how the map fits into the silhouette of this vampire castle. I was pretty happy with this pencil sketch, so I decided to tape it onto the back of a blank sheet of paper so I could trace over it instead of inking right on top of my pencil sketch. I guess what I wasn't too happy with were the crooked rooms, so I made a few straight horizontal lines on the fresh sheet of paper to kind of act like guides for the actual pencil drawing. Now I'm redrawing the map and cleaning it up a lot. I'm starting with the bottom town bit because that's what I'm most interested in the moment. I'm freehanding little isometric style buildings, really simple to draw once you get the hang of it. I've got some other videos on the channel that will show you how to make these little kind of fantasy town map isometric buildings. And I'm keeping this village really small and simple because I want the map of the castle to feel imposing, like each room of the castle is the size of an entire building in this town. Now for these interior side view rooms, I'm following the guides to keep the floors of the rooms somewhat straight. I thought about using grid paper or making more guidelines, but I still want this map to look and feel like it's hand-drawn and not so perfect. But I am also taking my time to keep the lines somewhat straight. I'm drawing this map at size, so this drawing will be printed in the zine at the same size that I'm drawing it here. Usually I draw a little bit bigger and then shrink stuff down. That gets rid of some of the tiny mistakes that come with inking later on in the process. But this time I'm drawing it 100% and it's gonna look good. Most of the time with these maps, I really like using pencil and eraser to sketch out the map and even draw a cleaner version like this one so I can be exactly sure how everything is going to work and connect and the scale and proportions of everything. Like I get an idea before I start committing with ink. I'm not drawing out every single detail, like I'm skipping the pine trees that you'll see later, but pretty much everything is drawn in pencil first, and then once I have it looking nice and how I want it, then it's time to ink the drawing. I'm going to be using a few different sizes of Posca markers. I just love drawing with these things. A size 1 MR for the line work, and then a size 1M and a 5M to fill in the thicker black areas. These might not be the best pens to use for this drawing, especially at the smaller scale. Maybe like a finer tipped micron would have been better, but I'm gonna make this work just because I love drawing with these Posca markers so much. I guess also I should say I'm just using regular old plain white printer paper, and I'll have links to all the tools I'm using in the description. Okay, I want this drawing to look like a map from a Castlevania game, or, you know, like any sort of Metroidvania, like you pause the game and you see where you are inside Dracula's castle. And even though these rooms are just gonna stay blank, I'm trying to give them some variety and personality, you know, so Game Master could intuit what they might be used for. So, you know, having some smaller rooms at the top of the castle and then the big cave-shaped rooms down underneath makes it feel like getting to the top would be a real adventure, right? I also wanted it to feel maze-like, you know, good for tabletop role-playing game adventures, so I paid close attention to how the rooms connected, having some dead ends and branching pathways and stuff. So if you do fill out this map and use it for an adventure, it's got all the connecty bits that make it fun and interesting to explore. I made a magic item zine called Unscrupulous Emporiums, and one of the shops in the guidebook is actually run by this vampire who's selling a bunch of his fancy magic items out of a horse-drawn carriage. after the townsfolk have chased him out of this castle. So this castle actually belongs to a character that I created for this monthly zine a while ago. The zine I'm making this month that this map will be in is called Flick Silverpen's Collection of Curiosities Volume 1. It's going to be a bunch of random stuff that you can throw into your own fantasy tabletop RPGs. A bunch of fun, weird, random tables, NPC portraits, and some maps like this one that you can use however you want. Everything in the zine will be presented as a sort of in-world item. This map is like a blueprint callback to that earlier story I created for the Unscrupulous Emporiums. And I love making these zines every month on my Patreon. And whenever I can connect them like this, I get really psyched about the fantasy world that is slowly being built month by month. If all of that sounds interesting, definitely check out the Patreon. You can sign up and get access to a ton of digital stuff right away, like the Unscrupulous Emporiums zines. And if you sign up this month at the Legend tier, I'll send you a copy of Flick Silverpen's Collections of Curiosities as soon as it's back from the printer. I've also got a ton of stuff in my online shop. Again, links to all that stuff are down in the description. Okay, so inking this map is pretty fun and easy. I'm just trying to stick to the pencil lines and keep things like the connections between rooms as consistent as possible. If you're interested in drawing a side view map like this, you should totally give it a shot. It just takes a little bit of planning, like that pencil stage earlier, but it couldn't be simpler, as you can see from this time-lapse drawing. The pine trees here are super easy to make, just a vertical line and then a few swoops off each side. I'm not being too careful with the trees because most of them are getting overlapped, and really it's more of a framing element, a texture to add to the composition of this map illustration. One of my favorite parts is filling in the black areas. I think having the thick black around the simple white rooms makes the map super readable and usable. You know, if it was just line work, it would probably be pretty difficult to look at, so having a nice contrast really helps. And then once all of the inking is done and dry, I gently erase the pencil lines, then snap a photo and clean it up in Photoshop a little bit. Because the illustrations in the Flick Silverpen zines usually have this 25% gray added to the artwork, I'm getting that in there too, and then adding the title and a border and calling this map done. Let me know what you think of the map of Castle Mordra in the comments, and check out the collection of curiosities when it's all done at the end of this month on Patreon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya!